reached Android XV1 that Ana Polina Kozar and her son Huck are attempting to escape prison. Android XV1 then instructed one of the soldiers to escort Professor Orlov to the plane for his safety while she pursued the mother and son. However, she quickly realized there wasn't enough time to board a plane and issued further instructions to place him in a truck and evacuate the city. Huck's thumping was causing catastrophic damage everywhere, and there was a risk of the building collapsing on them. When Android XV1 detected and pinpointed their location in the prison cell, she surprised them by crashing into them. At this moment, they were locked in a battle with Android Tom, and her intervention brought the confrontation to a standstill. Professor Orlov found it difficult to contain his ego as he questioned the process of his escape. However, his soldier assured him that being bundled into an old truck was the best way to escape without being detected by his enemies or anyone else. Professor Orlov successfully transferred all his work to a backup computer outside Science City. In truth, Huck was a bit exhausted from his relentless stomping of the city, which initially gave Android Tom an advantage when they engaged in combat, as he managed to blast Huck away from him. At the same time, Ana Polina Kozar, Huck's mother, was being overwhelmed by Android XV1. Android XV1 was getting the better of her and trying to choke her to death. This situation made Huck extremely angry. In his rage, he brutally overcame Android Tom and demanded that Android Tom tell Android XV1 to stop hurting his mother. Outside, unaware of the events inside the prison, the Science City military force decided to breach the facility. They had received confirmation that two of their androids were engaged in a battle with Huck and his mother, and they believed it was necessary to support their androids in apprehending them. As they entered the prison and threw tear gas inside, they were astonished to discover that both Android Tom and Android XV1 had been defeated and irreparably destroyed. Without questioning the situation, they dropped their weapons and hastily fled without looking back. By this time, Professor Orlov was nowhere to be found. He had successfully escaped the facility before its destruction. However, Huck remained within the vicinity and was able to determine the professor's whereabouts from his current location. Without hesitation, Huck pulled a street lamp from the ground and swung it through the air. The lamp flew across the city, precisely locating the truck transporting Professor Orlov to his new secret location. Huck's action caused the vehicle to somersault in the air and resulted in a crash. But fortunately, there were no injuries to the passengers inside. Finding the professor unconscious from the accident, Huck dragged him out of the truck and brought him to his mother, Ana Polina Kozar. The awakened professor begged for his life, but Ana Polina Kozar was unconcerned with vengeance or revenge. Her primary concern was the safety of his work and knowing where he had stored it for emergencies like the one the professor was currently facing. Utilizing her powers, Ana Polina Kozar compelled the professor to disclose the information about how to erase all his work from the computers. Under her influence, he confessed, and he was forced to reveal that he had backup files in both Kiev and Moscow. Ana Polina Kozar's abilities compelled him to use his voice activation to destroy all of his work. At this point, Huck and Ana were expecting a humble response from the professor. However, true to his unusual nature, he couldn't contain his arrogance and began to boast. He expressed no regret for his actions and boldly stated that he would do it all over again. He warned them not to feel victorious because they had destroyed all his works, claiming that every piece of information resided in his faculty. The professor, convinced that Huck and Ana lacked the courage to end his life, saw himself as the ultimate victor. In his view, there was no competition comparison between himself and them, as he believed he was far superior in class, intelligence, and status. He went further, dismissing their reputation as nothing more than that of a peasant girl from a remote village and her not too brilliant son, an ordinary gas pump attendant. He boasted about putting them back in the metaphorical cage under his mercy, even in their current situation. Indeed, the professor's arrogance led to his downfall. He should have done the most important thing, keeping his mouth shut. With her remarkable powers, Ana Polina Kozar approached him, touched him, and instantly caused him to forget everything related to science. Every piece of information regarding his experiments and knowledge vanished from his mind. He was left mentally incapacitated and utterly useless in the field of science. With the Russian government denying any knowledge of Professor Orlov's action or experiments, peace was restored to the world. Ana Polina Kozar and her son, Huck, decided to take a long walk, bringing joy to Huck, who had finally reunited with his mother. However, during their walk, Huck suddenly realizes that he is behind on his good deeds. He needed to bake a pie for old Mr. Beatty, help people stuck in a flood, donate $20 to the governor after the governor lost his re-election, express to Zoe how special she was, find his mom's missing cat, and make room for his mom, Ana Polina Kozar, who decided to move in with him. Meanwhile, Ana Polina Kozar bid farewell to her violin students, marking a new chapter in their lives. In summary, Huck, his mother, and his foster mother lived happily ever after. Additionally, Diane, the lady who exposed Huck's secret to the media, decided to leave town due to her actions. In an act of kindness, Huck approaches Zoe to get some flowers for Diane and to let her know that he forgave her for revealing his secret, bringing closure to that chapter of their lives.